So you're trying to decide between Whidbey Island and the San Juan Islands, and honestly, I don't blame you because on paper they look pretty similar. Both are gorgeous Pacific Northwest Island communities, both are surrounded by water, and both attract people who are done with city life. But once you dig into the details, these two places are actually really different when it comes to commute, cost of living, healthcare access, and day-to-day lifestyle. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly how Whidbey Island and the San Juan Islands compare, so by the end, you'll know exactly which one fits the life you're trying to build. If you're researching a move to either area, this is the video you need to watch first. Before we get in, quick intro. I'm Rachel, and I help people buy and sell and relocate to this part of Washington every single day. I get messages every week from people who are in exactly the spot you're in right now, trying to figure out which island actually matches their lifestyle, their budget, and their goals for the next chapter of life. So if you're watching this because you're seriously considering a move here, or you're just starting to explore your options, I would love to help. All my contact info is right here in the description below, and reaching out costs you nothing. It's just a conversation about what you're looking for and whether this area is the right fit. Now let's get into the real differences between these two island communities. Let's start with the thing that trips up almost everyone considering island life: how you actually get on and off. Whidbey Island has a huge advantage here because it's connected to the mainland by a bridge at Deception Pass on the north end, which means you can drive on and off the island without ever touching a ferry. There's also a ferry route from Clinton to Mukilteo on the south end, which is a quick 20-minute crossing and runs frequently throughout the day. The San Juan Islands are a completely different story because they are ferry-dependent islands with no bridge access at all. To get to Friday Harbor, Orcas Island, or Lopez Island, you're taking a Washington State ferry from Anacortes, and that ride can run anywhere from 45 minutes to over an hour depending on which island you're headed to. During peak season, ferry lines can mean waiting hours, and locals plan their entire schedules around the ferry timetable. There are a couple of other ways on and off, and it's worth knowing about them. There is a small commuter airline that flies out of Anacortes directly into the San Juans, which a lot of residents use to skip the ferry line entirely, especially during busy summer months. And it's not unusual to find residents who keep their own private boat or private plane specifically for the flexibility of coming and going on their own schedule. So while the ferry is the main public option, it's not the only one, and some buyers factor that into their decision when they're weighing how remote the islands really feel day to day. This matters enormously if you work off island, have kids in mainland activities, or just want the flexibility to leave on a whim. Whidbey gives you that flexibility. The San Juans require a real shift in mindset where you'll learn to plan trips in advance and build slack into your schedule for ferry delays. Next big factor is money, and this is where a lot of people are surprised. Whidbey Island tends to have a more accessible price point across the board with a wider range of housing stock, from starter homes to waterfront estates, which means there's more room to find something that fits your budget. The San Juan Islands, on the other hand, generally carry a real estate premium. Land is scarcer, development is more restricted, and a lot of buyers are purchasing second homes or vacation properties, which drive prices up. You'll also find that everyday costs like groceries and building materials tend to run higher in the San Juans simply because everything has to be ferried in. If budget's a major factor in your decision, Whidbey typically stretches further, but if you have more flexibility and you're specifically drawn to that remote, exclusive island feel, the San Juans might be worth the premium to you. This is one people don't think about until it becomes urgent. So let's talk about it. Whidbey Island has a full hospital. Whidbey Health, along with a range of clinics and specialists, which means most day-to-day and even a lot of urgent medical needs can be handled without leaving the island. The San Juan Islands have more limited medical infrastructure. Friday Harbor has a clinic, but for anything beyond basic care, Residents often need to take a ferry or arrange a medevac flight to the mainland. This is a real consideration for retirees, families with young kids, or anyone managing an ongoing health condition. The nearest hospital to the San Juan Islands is in Anacortes, which is of course still a flight or a ferry ride away. It's not that healthcare does not exist in the San Juans, it's just that access is slower and more limited, and that's an important trade-off to factor into your decision. Now let's talk about the vibe, because this is honestly where a lot of buyers make their final decision. Whidbey Island has a handful of distinct towns like Oak Harbor, Coupeville, and Langley, each with its own personality, and there's a good mix of year-round working families, retirees, military presence from Naval Air Station Whidbey Island. The San Juan Islands lean more heavily into a seasonal, tourism-driven economy, especially in the summer months when the population swells with visitors. The year-round community is a tighter-knit and often smaller community, which some people love for the closeness, while others can find it a little isolating in the off-season when the tourist crowds disappear. Neither vibe is better, they're just different. Whidbey feels more like a full-service community you can settle into full-time. The San Juans feel more like a retreat, especially if you're not tied to a daily commute or don't mind a slower pace for most of the year. So let's bring this together. Whidbey Island tends to be the better fit if you need mainland access for work, you want a broader range of housing prices, or you want full healthcare access without relying on a ferry schedule. It's also a great option for military families and anyone who wants island living without fully disconnecting from mainland conveniences. The San Juan Islands tend to be the better fit if you are financially flexible, if you're looking for a true retreat lifestyle, or if you're drawn to a smaller, more remote community and don't mind planning your life around the ferry schedule. A lot of retirees and remote workers with total location freedom gravitate towards the San Juans for exactly this reason. Both are incredible places to live, and I mean that. The right choice really comes down to your daily routine, your budget, and how much you value convenience versus complete escape. If Whidbey ends up being your pick, you'll want to check out my video comparing the north end to the south end, because here on Whidbey, location matters. And again, if you're seriously considering a move to either area, reach out using the contact info in the description below. I would love to help you figure out your next step.